So we can get started now. This is the April 13th, 2022 meeting of the Beautification Commission, and it is 10:10, sorry, a little bit late. And our agenda today is pretty packed. So the first thing we're going to do is approve the minutes of the February 9th meeting. We didn't have a meeting last month, so that's why we're a month behind. And could I have a motion? Yeah, Elizabeth, seconded Jackie. Okay, thank you. And that's fantastic.
Did we approve the January ones? Wasn't there a problem with the January minutes?
No, we approved those in February.
Did we have a quorum in February?
I thought we
I
did.
think so. Yeah.
Yes, because I sent those on to,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
well, I'll double check, but
If not, let's just approve them.
I'm pretty certain we're fine because I'm quite good at trying to get those organised. All right, so we've approved our minutes of February 9th, and we have our 9th member of the commission, Alicia, who's joined us today. Alicia Pepperoni. And how do you pronounce your last name? Pepperoni?
Yes, Alicia Pepperone.
Pepperon. Oh, Pepperon. Okay. Well, welcome. We've got Katie. I don't know if you can see anything, but we have Alicia Pepperon who's joined us. She's our last member of the commission, so now we're actually 9 again. Colleen and Amanda are away today because it's spring break, but there's 7 of us, which is pretty good. So welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so
Can she mute herself?
I have the. Oh, Katie, do you think you could mute because I can hear you typing?
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay. Right. Hanging baskets. Do you want to update us, Tracy? Hanging baskets.
Hanging baskets are scheduled to arrive next month. I'm going to reach out to the company and make certain. We thought we would try and do them that Thursday before Memorial Day weekend rather than Friday, so that if people are going away and whatnot, it's a little easier.
What date is that?
It is.
May 26th?
Yes, that Thursday the 26th.
Thursday the 26th. Okay. So just so everybody knows, we don't have a formal meeting in May. And the idea is that we get together informally and we unload the baskets and we swap the plastic chains for the metal chains. And then Public Works takes them away and hangs them around the town. And that's
And
the
Park
day.
and Rec.
And Parks and Rec, yeah. And that's what Tracy's talking about.
Yeah.
By way of date.
And then we have the additional brackets that were put up at Tilly's, so those baskets will hang at the Sedgwick side. So that should be pretty this year.
Nice.
I also got a phone call from Pear Tree from Parks and Recs asking if we could do some planting or baskets or something down at Pear Tree. And I left it with her that if I had any additional baskets, we would try to put 2 baskets down at Pear Tree. And maybe eventually we should try and do some planting down there as well.
I think
Good idea.
We have baskets at Wee Beach, right?
We did last year, and we were going to do away with them as a kind of trying to cut our costs and whatnot. One of them was taken, but one of them stayed. So I didn't put that in my number, but I think I have a little bit of wiggle room, so we'll see. So,
okay.
yeah.
And we'll be meeting at Wee Beach in the course
At
of
Wee
the-
Beach,
Yeah.
yeah, I will send that out. And Alicia, so you know, we meet at just before Memorial Day weekend. We meet down there at about 7 o'clock, about 7:30 in the morning, and the truck arrives and we unwrap the baskets. We swap out the chains. I have a bunch of baskets. I think it's 28 that go to the Darien Library. They pick them up themselves and distribute. So those we count out those separately. We count out. Penny Glassmeyer puts the baskets up at the Grove Street Plaza there, so she comes and picks those up. And then we have the Darien Relating Bank also picks up baskets, and we maintain the baskets for the bank, and they pay us an additional fee. Everyone else maintains their own, although the library asked us if we could, and I said, well, we'll work on that for next year. let your maintenance man know that he's on duty this year, so.
And is that mostly for watering?
Watering and
Okay.
fertilizing.
Okay.
Mhm. So, and we have a man, elder who comes through and he does all the watering at like 4 o'clock in the morning, all around town, and also feeds them and whatnot, and just kind of keeps fluffing them up and pulling out the dead flowers and so forth. So he's very good and he stays right on top of it. I did eliminate in my count, I did eliminate the baskets that we used to put in front of Leary's because they just don't stand. They just don't. Someone keeps taking them, and
Right.
then
This is
or
on Ledge Road.
yeah. So I think Ledge Road this year maybe I'll do without any of those baskets with all the chaos down there this year, and then
Mm-hmm.
Or
Well,
Heights, it's
no.
Heights Road.
yeah, Heights Road,
Heights.
not Ledge, Heights Road,
Yeah.
and we'll revisit that next fall when it's time to order.
Too much
Mhm.
construction.
Too much,
there
yeah,
anyway.
and too much dirt and chaos. So
The one thing I would say, it is really good if we can, well, as many of us as possible can turn up to do those baskets, because
it is time consuming.
it's time consuming, and we have just a short period between delivery, and last year they delivered them late, and when Public Works picks them up, so it's very intense, and
It's a mad dash
it's a mad dash, and it's
to
very
get them
early.
ready for everybody.
Yeah.
So
All hands on deck.
Yes, all right.
What
yeah,
time does Public Works pick them up?
they usually come about 8:15.
No,
So
no, they don't, the baskets aren't delivered
Yes.
until,
the baskets come after 7, I think it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
it all happens on the same day, Katie. It would be wonderful if there could be some kind of organisation where we could pace ourselves, but unfortunately, it's all
yeah,
down to
It's fast and furious.
2 or 3 hours that morning, and last year was really condensed when the truck was late.
Yeah. He got
So-
stuck in traffic and whatnot, but usually he's pretty good. It's the same person delivers each year. We found Weed Beach is like the perfect spot because we're all safe. We're out of the sun. If it rains, whatever, we're
Covered.
protected, and it just makes it easy for the people to come in and pick up their baskets, and it just flows well.
Yes,
Mhm.
So
but a very logical question, Katie. Appreciate it. Amanda?
I feel like last year, I think I remember getting water. Do we need water and like maybe bananas?
Well, I bring
or-
my own because I don't like plastic bottles. So
Oh, okay,
I would encourage you all just to bring your own
yeah.
okay,
in-your reusable
okay,
water mugs.
Yeah, it's easy enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
thank you. It's very
sure.
nice thought. Okay, so I think that's it on hanging baskets.
I just got there's the 3 checks,
Okay. Oh yes,
so
and
those will get deposited. This
we have enough money
$3,000.
to
Mhm.
see through. Okay. Good.
Where does the funding come from for the baskets?
The town, we get a budget.
Yeah, we have an operating budget,
Mhm.
and then sometimes we have a capital budget too. So our operating budget is used predominantly for these baskets, and then anything that's left over we pursue our other plantings and cleanups, and then we do a lot of volunteer hours. You'll hear a little bit more about that in a moment, but we contribute a significant amount of our personal time to working on the gardens that we've got. So when I hear,
Scare her off.
no, it's wonderful work.
Yeah, it's a labor of love, and everybody around town is so appreciative of
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
It is enjoyable. I mean, if you, I'll take you around after the meeting and we can look at some of the plantings we've done here. My only worry about doing some more plantings is just the maintenance is a huge issue. One of the things we've got going on this year is that the pollinator pathway that our chair has some interns, and we've told them it's going to be heavy lifting this year. It's going to be all about garden maintenance around town. We don't. It doesn't matter if it's beautification gardens or pollinator pathway. We need the result, and we're going to be working on all of those. So we'll get a little bit of young and strong help.
garden maintenance, the glorified word for weeding, right?
Yes, weeding, yes.
Weeding and pruning.
Well, we already lost some just with our, sanitised description of what it was. So I didn't want to put them off anymore. Okay, well, our next item on the agenda is I'll give a summary of this letter that has been written on the subject of invasive plants, and I hope you've all had a chance to look at it.
Mhm.
I'll give you a little bit of background. So last year I sat on a working group called the Perfect Future Working Group, which is the policy for resilient forests for Connecticut's future. And in our report, which went to the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection in December last year, we had a small segment on the need to update Connecticut's law on invasive plants. It's very cumbersome. It isn't really utilised. The Invasive Plant Commission isn't funded adequately. So really there's no protection against invasive plants. And an opportunity came up because the Council on Environmental Quality was writing a report on the same subject. And so the chair of our working group, the Perfect Future Working Group, said to me, oh, would you like to make some comments on it? So that was, like heaven to me because I had a lot to say. And so I wrote comments on the report, and then I had a call with the chairman of the Council on Environmental Quality, and he said to me, oh, we're going to take all of your, nearly all of your comments, and here's our new report. And personally, I thought where he had taken the comments, they were somewhat muted, and they just didn't jump out at me. And I also felt the overall tone of the report it lacked a sense of urgency, and I didn't feel that, even though it was going to the Environment Committee, that they would feel like they needed to do anything, especially in a busy session, short session like we have now.
Mm-hmm.
So I spoke with a few other people. Holly Cossett and Barbara Thomas had the idea of instead writing our own letter that incorporated the key things that need to be looked at by the General Assembly. And that's what this letter really addresses. So we talk about the need, for example, to have a simplified law where instead of having a description or a definition of what's an invasive plant, and then some hoops to jump through in order for the Invasive Plant Commission to determine that an invasive plant is then prohibited, we would just say, we would propose that all invasive plants as defined, which would be a simple definition, would per se be prohibited. And then you don't have that second layer of work, especially for a commission that is underfunded. And that would be, that idea isn't like something genius that I thought of. I was borrowing from the Delaware native plant law. So Doug Tallamy, who is the, our guru, our native plant guru, he's a entomologist, famous entomologist from the University of Delaware. He was instrumental in crafting the Delaware law. So I felt very comfortable that here was something that was really straightforward, totally readable, 1 page long, did the trick. So that's really where the model comes from. We try not to load up this letter with a lot of detail, but that's sort of the background. And they, Holly and Barbara wrote this and explained how the Council on Environmental Quality had been looking at this issue since 2002, and basically nothing has happened. So we proposed something that's sort of streamlining the law, and in addition to that, we would ensure that we have we would have a list of plants so that people don't just have to look at the definition and see, oh, do I have these attributes? The known prohibited plants would be named, but by having a flexible definition, you capture plants that haven't even travelled here yet. They may still be on the boat from somewhere else, the seeds or whatever, the seedlings. And in crafting that list, we would look to our neighbouring states to see what they have on their list too. So, for example, Massachusetts bans the burning bush. And that would be a clear one to put on our list. The Callery pear, the ones that are already really pervasive and damaging in our neighbouring states, we would need to include because plants don't understand borders. We need to have something that works for a broader area than just Connecticut. And then we also came up, again borrowing from Delaware, with the idea of nurseries being required to label plants that are potentially invasive. So having these attributes, whether they're plants that spread or have a potential to spread profusely by seed or by rhizomes, if nurseries have a plant like that, then it should be labelled as potentially invasive. So people think twice before buying it and then regretting it after it takes over their gardens. And this isn't just a whim of a few people who are bothered by these. These plants cost the state, they cost municipalities, they cost homeowners thousands and thousands of dollars to eradicate. And in addition to that financial cost, the proliferation is causing a loss of habitat. So our native, indigenous insects and birds and pollinators don't know these plants. They don't breed on these plants. Sometimes they can feed from the nectar or the pollen. So even the Japanese knotweed has a flower, and bees can take the nectar from the flower. But there's no insect that's co-evolved with those plants. So they don't assist in our mission, one of our missions, beautification and pollinator pathway, to recreate habitat. So this is very relevant to what we are trying to do in our commission. And I have spoken with, sorry, it says I have a slow network.
Sorry, I just want a follow-up question
Yes.
about that.
Mm-hmm.
If we're able to have nurseries label plants as invasive species, how are they, or I guess why are they allowed to sell plants like that?
Oh, so yeah, I understand the question. They would not be allowed to sell an invasive plant, but if there was something that was, questionable and had the potential to become invasive, but hadn't yet, that's how the requirement should work. I think that will be controversial, Katie, because the nurseryman lobby is very strong. But it's more of an educational approach to have people think twice about plants that are, severe spreaders that we know are not native. Loosestrife as well. Yes, I mean that's a good example. But it may be that if our definition is broad enough, maybe there would be no need for this. But I think that it fills a gap. It's helpful for the risk of the unknown plant. You just don't know at a particular point what's going to be coming next. And so you're basing it off information from other states. Is that helpful?
Yeah, definitely. And I understand it's probably a little contentious. It's like a legal move. It's just, I guess, sort of a question.
Yeah. Well, I think. Look, honestly, we're really late in the session now. I mean, the session ends May 4th, and this realistically will be so to speak, planting a seed this year. That's terrible. I didn't mean to say it, but we'll be
laying the groundwork.
Yes, laying the groundwork. Thank you for hopefully some legislation next year. And if we can stay in touch with the Environment Committee, then we may be able to even prepare a law. It shouldn't be very difficult if we're going to borrow from Delaware and have a fulsome discussion in the next session. But I really like the idea of our commission being seen to be proactive. Obviously, we are involved in working on the ground to pull out invasives. I mean, goodness knows how much mugwort we've taken from the berm and from Amy's smile. But this feels like we're really going to the core of the issue and taking some more action. And I have okayed this with Monica as well, our first selectman, who is fine with us doing this. And she just wanted to read the final letter, which I've sent her.
Julia, would that include something like mint?
I'm sorry,
Would mint be on your list?
Probably not, because you can eat it, and it's very easy to pull out. I don't think so.
Okay.
And it's kind of interesting because mountain mint, for example, the native mountain mint is a prolific spreader, but it is habitat for so many bees and pollinators. So people tend to use the word invasive just meaning anything that spreads, but for us it's a term of art, and it's a non-native plant that's not indigenous to our area. And I know mint isn't indigenous to our area too, but I don't know why that's not on. Probably because it is culinary. It is used so much.
Right, so it would be non-culinary invasive.
Well, we
Yeah.
don't use that word,
Uh-huh.
but I don't think it even does anything for pollinators either. I guess later on when it flowers, but it's not on the invasive list.
Oh, okay.
I'm always pulling it out in my garden. I did manage to
You just
eradicate
have to make
it
more
once.
mint juleps, that's all.
Yeah.
Stay ahead of it. And I did want to read to you because since I sent the draft around, there have been a number of people, a number of organisations that have signed up to this letter, and I thought it was very, gosh, I've got everything up except.
You know, there is a law in the books in Massachusetts, you cannot bring firewood from other states into Massachusetts.
Oh, yes.
Really?
But that is, that's a very interesting point because that's more about invasive pests. And they're they're very worried about the Japanese, not Japanese, the spotted lanternfly. And in fact, so I had firewood left over from my house in Vermont, and somebody said, "Well, just bring it home." I said, "No, I can't bring it home. I can't risk that." And there are signs at I think it's Connecticut rest stops, maybe I'm thinking of Massachusetts, where it actually has a picture of the spotted lanternfly and says, "Don't bring wood across state lines." Yeah, it's a whole other area. But so let me just read to you. We've also got the Pollinator Pathway. That's the umbrella organisation. Wilton Conservation Commission, Norwalk River Watershed Association, Brookfield Garden Club, Earth Tones Native Plant Nursery, Newtown Conservation Commission, Trumbull Conservation Commission, Newtown Forest Association Land Trust, Fairfield Forestry Committee, Southington Land Trust, just trying to give you some different ones, Middletown Garden Club, Bethlehem Land Trust, North Branford Land Conservation Trust, Roxbury Land Trust, Sharon Land Trust, Southbury Land Trust, Winterbury Land Trust, Morris Land Trust, Aspetuck Land Trust.
Wow.
It goes on and on. So it's fantastic. There have been so many signatories. I just think if there's more conservation associations, Newtown, I told you, Trumbull. So Monroe Conservation Commission, really good number of signatures. So I'm hopeful that this will get attention. And they're actually waiting for us to vote before they send it in, which is wonderful. They really wanted to have our vote on it.
And it's all over the state, which is nice. It's not just coming from Fairfield County.
Right.
Yes, yeah. So could I have a vote to support and sign this letter? Yeah, Elizabeth, seconded. Thank you. All in
I
favour?
vote.
Oh, thank you, Katie. Thank you. And we have a quorum. There are 7 of us. Well, there's 6 of us in the room, and then you're on the phone. So that's fantastic. Okay. So I will let Holly Gossett know about this, and I'll add Beautification Commission to the list of signatories. I am thrilled because I really feel that that's a wonderful thing for us to be
Rally,
doing.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think we should feel proud of ourselves for being active on this. All right. So the next item is to schedule our next clean-up, and I had spoken to Elizabeth, who was a little bit worried about the butterfly garden at the burn. So, Alicia, that's one. If you're looking at the Swab Lane at the Darien train station, if you're standing at the parking lot with the track in front of you, it's the left-hand side nearest the
On the city-bound
Heading
side?
toward Leroy. Yes.
Okay.
yeah. No,
No.
No, it's the
Northbound.
northbound side.
Northbound,
side.
okay.
yeah.
It's
And
where the hill is.
Okay.
Yeah.
what we've been doing is having at least one clean-up at some point after our regular monthly meeting. So whatever works for others. I'm around this. I'm around this Saturday, but we don't. It's nice to work together, but if people want to work on their own, that's fine too. Elizabeth, did you have any time in mind?
Well, we usually do the Friday or Saturday after
Yeah.
our meeting, right? So,
It's good, it's Easter weekend, Good Friday.
Oh, that's true, it's
Will
Easter
be-
Friday, isn't it?
yeah.
I
don't know
know,
if that matters to anybody,
no,
but,
it might.
I'm wedding dress shopping for my daughter for Saturday.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
leaving town tomorrow.
yeah.
All right,
And it is vacation week, so
It
maybe
is.
it's
Yeah.
following.
So they could bring the kids.
No, no. They might pull out stuff that we don't want to pull out.
So what would you like to do, Elizabeth? Do you,
How about the
Um,
following Friday?
Yeah, how about the following Friday? We could
Saturday?
just send out a
Okay.
little reminder email.
yeah.
Or
So-
Saturday.
Well, no, that could, actually, I could have grandchildren with, but, yeah, that possibly could work.
It'll never work for everyone, so
Yeah.
you know, we just do the best we can. So what date is that? Oh, hold on.
Oh,
Is it the 23rd?
Yeah, that's the compost. And
Well,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, we have to be careful. Okay.
yeah,
Well, it doesn't have to be a Friday. I
That's
mean,
the Saturday.
No, that's the
Saturday
Saturday.
is the
We're
compost.
talking about Friday,
yeah.
the 22nd, Earth Day.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Earth Day.
April 22nd.
April 22nd is Earth
Earth
Day.
Day.
Let's tentatively say that then.
April 22nd.
Okay.
around
And then-
what time do you typically
At
meet?
8 o'clock?
Or like not, whenever you get your kid, you have kids.
Uh-huh.
Whenever you get your kids off to school is fine,
Okay.
right? 9ish.
I don't know.
Juliet.
It's so long since I did that.
Let's just go on the train. See ya.
Yeah, 9ish would be good. And plus, everybody's parked there by then, and it's just quieter. You don't have the commuters going up and down the stairs and stuff.
Yeah, I like to go earlier, so I'll probably go earlier and
Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm like an 8 o'clock kind of a person.
Okay.
So just so I'm clear, I'm sorry, I still don't understand exactly where it is, because I use the Norotan Heights train station. If you're, would you be, like, if you pull into the lot off of the Post Road,
Yeah.
where is it?
So
Just keep going
driving.
toward the back,
Okay,
toward Leroy,
uh-huh,
and across from like the back side of the Grove Street
Mhm.
entrances to the shops and things, there's that berm.
okay,
called
as
Squid
you're heading
Lane.
toward Leroy.
Okay,
It's on the right.
okay.
It's
Yes.
opposite Squab Lane.
Yeah,
Okay.
Squab.
across from Squab Lane.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And the plot we're talking about is the one that's closest to that railroad bridge on Leroy.
Okay,
Yeah. But if that's done by then, we can spread out and do any one of those gardens.
So we're gonna do the butterfly garden first and then work
Yeah.
north.
But I'm planning on going there myself, so that might be pretty much done.
Good.
Okay. Well, the Lord knows
Let me
it's
know when
big
you go,
enough.
I'll help you.
Okay, thanks. Whenever I drive by, because I drive by there so many times on Leroy, there's been this Gatorade water bottle, bright orange, with like still some Gatorade in it, that's like thrown to the top of the berm. And every time I go by, I'm like, Elizabeth, stop and get that darn water bottle. It drives me crazy. So I think there's some trash in there too that needs to be picked up.
I'm not, next Friday, I'm actually going to, the Greenwich Historical Society has someone there from the New York Botanical
Oh,
Garden.
nice.
So that's from 9:30 to, I think, noon on Friday, so I can't make it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
No, don't worry. I mean, it's
You can go
very
anytime.
difficult to organise everyone. Katie, sorry, you trying to say something?
Yeah, I was available because I am off for this Friday, and then I was free for most of the weekends. I could do a quick preliminary cleanup.
Oh, that would be
if
wonderful.
anything else was available.
Yeah. So are you saying this Friday?
Yeah, I wasn't available the next weekend that we were discussing, but I was available this weekend.
Okay.
What time did you want to go there, Katie?
I had the whole day off, so
Wow.
anytime was good.
I mean, I could do Friday morning at like 8 o'clock if you want this Friday.
Yeah, I can go too at 8.
Ooh.
Third,
Oh, wow. We've got 4 takers to go with you, Katie.
Does
All
that
right.
include your husband?
Perfect.
Will he bring his tools?
All right. So Katie,
All right, this
Elizabeth,
Friday.
Amanda.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Oh,
Was it
Jackie.
you? The Jackie. I'm
That's
sorry.
right.
That's right.
I know you're Jackie. I
I'm
don't know why I said that.
Thrilled to be called Amanda.
So this Friday then, 8 o'clock at the berm.
Wow. All right. That's great. And so we.
Good, thanks, Katie.
All right. Excellent, Katie. Thank you.
Perfect.
You just changed everything. All
Not to
right.
mention that next week we can still do something.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. There are no prohibitions on working. All right. So, all right, now we're going full circle. Earth Day activities So I'm going to start backwards and just talk about the compost giveaway event with Public Works and the Sustainability Committee. Remember, well, Alicia, you won't remember this, but we had Carolyn Bain from the Advisory Committee on Sustainability came to talk to us about the food scrap recycling program. And we learned a lot, and we were talking about ways in which we could collaborate, and we become more visible, more active in things other than gardens, and also really just participate. So we have donated, I think you copied on the email with Public Works, $400 from our operating budget to the town compost giveaway. And basically what that is, it's the compost that's made from the food scrap that we send up to be processed. And this event is meant to sort of help market the whole program. It's had a very good take-up, but there's still a lot of people who aren't really familiar with it, haven't used it. So the more that we can talk it up, the more of this heavy, wet food waste gets taken out of our incineration system, and it benefits us through the, obviously the weight of our garbage is lowered, and then we create all this wonderful compost. So this is a good way to introduce people to the scheme and to see what the product, what's made with all of our food scraps. So there are two events at the recycling centre, April 23rd and April 30th. Now, I have to confess that I'm not free either of those days because we have events for the Pollinator Pathway on both those days, and because we've received grants and it's all very formalised and has to be documented, I can't skip. So I'm really hoping that we have one or two people who could go on April 23rd or April 30th and sign up. I think I circulated the Sign Up Genius to you all. That came from Carolyn, and I think I hadn't really looked, but I think the slots are 1 to 2 hours, so you don't have to be there all day. And really just being a presence for the Beautification Commission is fantastic. Carolyn has prepared not a flyer, but some marketing materials, and she's put our logo on it, or the last logo we used for the signage and the slopes here. So we are actively being marketed, and if one or more of us can be there on both days, that would be great too. So just maybe take a look at the Sign Up Genius. I think it's pretty straightforward to use that.
So I can't, we're going to be away the second weekend, so I already signed up for the first weekend.
Fabulous.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, do we bring our own shovels, or will they have shovels there?
I think people are asked to bring their own.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think this year too, they're going to try to limit, because last year, or whenever they did it last time, people would come with great big garbage containers. We don't have enough for everybody to take that kind of size, so we're hoping that people will come with the Home Depot type buckets.
Yeah, because it says bucket on it.
Yes, yeah. And
is it in the same spot where it's been in previous years?
I believe it, where the bins are normally.
Yeah, like where that driveway is, right?
Yes,
okay,
yeah.
Right back there. Okay, cool.
I think so. And Carolyn, also, we also talked about buying bins and putting beautification logo on, or individually buying.
Mm-hmm.
She's looking into that because she doesn't like the bins that they use. She thinks they're sort of not attractive, and they're not that big. So she's looking at having those changed completely. So once she's done that research, she'll come back to us and see how else we can contribute.
Oh, good.
All right, so that's good. So we'll have some of us on one or other of both those days, and then we have the Pollinator Pathway has an event with the Nature Centre. I don't think I've put this on here. April 23rd, so that's the day after Earth Day. That is the Spring into Nature event. That is the Nature Centre's own event, and there'll be the food scrap recycling program. There'll be Alice Ely talking about monarch butterflies. We'll be talking about Pollinator Pathway, about getting rid of your lawns, rethinking your lawns, planting trees, that sort of thing. I think it's 2 sessions, there's a morning session and an afternoon session, so feel free to come to that. You may have to buy tickets actually, but it's all just the same sort of thing that we're trying to do, so it'll be interesting.
Do you need help with that?
I think we're okay, but if you'd like to, you're more than welcome to come sit at one of our tables.
Okay,
We're
yeah,
talking
okay.
about, as I said, rethinking lawns. We're trying to devise a poster at the moment that shows the ideal lawn, which is all wildflowers, and then an organic lawn that's really just clover and treated with compost, and then at the base of our inverted triangle, just teensy bit of green lawn. This trees
Just with golf putting.
Yes.
My husband needs to see that.
Yeah. Well,
So Angela, could you say one more time the dates and the location for this?
okay, so that Spring into Nature, which is the Nature Centre's own event, is April 23rd. Everything's happening at the same time because it's all around Earth Day.
Mm-hmm.
The compost giveaway is also April 23rd and April 30th.
No,
Juliet, on the agenda you listed the Darien Nature
Yeah.
Center event as the 30th.
It's another one.
Oh.
And I wasn't very clear. was I?
Spring into Nature is,
Spring into Nature is April 23rd.
okay.
but the compost giveaway is the 22nd.
No, the 23rd, it's the Saturday, they're both the
Yeah,
same.
they're both the same day.
I wrote the 23rd is Sunday.
So
Okay.
I think you might not be able to come to the Spring into Nature, or maybe you could come afterwards.
Oh, I'll come after.
Yes, that'd be lovely.
The
I'm
23rd
working
and
7 to
30th for
9.
the giveaway?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
30th are the giveaways. What is here is
23rd.
correct, it's just not complete. It's not complete.
Okay, cool.
And Earth Day is the 22nd?
Yeah.
Today's the 22nd.
Oh, right, that's the Friday. Okay, cool.
Spring into Nature is the Nature Centre's event, which is the 23rd.
Okay.
And then the Pollinator Pathway has an invasive plant removal and tree planting day on the 30th. That's the one that the Pollinator Pathway has a grant for from One Tree Planted. So we will be buying trees to replace the invasives that we pull out on the 30th. Now, I don't want to overload you, but then we're going to have a second event too in May. But I think this is enough to be going on with. We've gone from having a very quiet winter to being completely overloaded with things.
It sounds as though we usually don't have a May meeting because we have that May time. It sounds like we need to have a May meeting this time,
Just to organise our
just to recoup or
thoughts, yeah.
how things worked. And
All right, and then I thought this was good news. So I heard from Susan Daly, who's on the Parks and Rec Commission, and her daughter is with the Girl Scouts, and they were looking for a garden to work on. And originally I had said, well, come to the Nature Centre and work on invasive removal. And then I thought, these are young girls, they might feel like they're just not seeing the result. Maybe they'd like something smaller. So I had a look at Amy's Smile and our mugwort coming up, and I was going to take Susan over there and show her the mugwort that needs to be pulled out. And if we have any, if the Pollinator Pathway has some extra plants, I'll give them as well. And I thought that would be a fabulous job for them because they can really make a difference. They'll be able to work for a few hours and
See the difference.
see the difference that they've made. And I think that will be more encouraging for them to do more projects. And Susan she's a great supporter of the Pollinator Pathway and the work that we do. And so she's really going to supervise their work. And so I know it'll get done well.
is there a chance, I know we talked about last year with Amy Smile and with the berm as well, but is there a chance that the town will bring us mulch?
I'm sure they will.
Because last year we had that weeded beautifully,
Mm.
and it gets so bone dry over there.
But what happened? Did we ask for mulch? I know they took away all the brush.
I
They
don't
took the
think
brush, but they didn't bring us mulch.
We didn't ask
And
though.
I think we didn't ask for it.
Can we definitely ask for mulch this
Yeah.
year though?
Well, that
Because
would be a good idea.
that would really
Yeah.
help. All that stuff gets so dried out, and those rose bushes that
Yeah.
we planted, and
Oh yeah.
Well, that would
Yeah.
be a good idea.
we keep the mugwort down a little
Yeah,
bit.
and if I tell, if I ask Public Works to do that for May 7th, then the girls could put it out after that.
After
That'll
they
look really
pull,
good.
Then it would look really
Yeah,
sharp.
Yeah. All right.
But I was gonna say also, remember last year the Girl Scouts replanted that garden at Tilly Pond?
The one that
That you walk
above.
up the stairs
yeah,
and above?
they're doing it again this year too.
Oh, good.
Yes.
It'll be in that neighborhood.
Because I was gonna say, that's perfect, because Amy's Smile is right there too.
Yeah, so
They'll be selling cookies on the sidewalk.
my Pollinator Pathway chair, Deepika and I went to look at that with the girls, and we gave them some suggestions for plants, then discovered that, of course, we're there when there are no leaves on the trees, so it isn't actually as sunny as we thought it was going to be. And we've heard since that everything dies because it's so shady. So we redid the planting plan and gave them only shade plants, so it won't be as colourful as Amy's Smile can be,
Oh, okay.
but at least they should be able to create a whole set of plantings that will actually last.
Clean and pretty.
Yes, exactly.
Green.
It's just the girls had been so excited because
I know.
they had chosen all the colours that they liked.
Yeah.
And also it's deer fodder as well. the
Oh,
deer.
true.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Deer resistant, it needs to be.
Yes. Well, it leaves you with kind of mountain mint.
Too. Daffodils.
Yes.
No tulips.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of
Sorry.
course.
Amy's Smile Garden is at Tilly Pond.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I keep forgetting.
That's
Yes, it
okay. I
is.
don't know all the locations.
All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know, as you go down
West Ave.
West Avenue, thank you, I was going to call it Leroy. West Avenue, and you're looking at the southbound
Mhm.
New York train station side.
Right
It's
across
right
from the
opposite.
train station.
Yes. And it's got a lot of daffodils there right now.
Okay.
Yeah. It's that one, and there is a sign, at the moment it's crooked again. We just straightened it last time we worked there, but it's leaning again. And
It's listing.
yeah, it is listing.
So it's right next to that, that spa haircutting place.
Yes.
Mm.
Longier.
Longier.
Lanfier.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
have that, and then the next thing you see
Right
at
after the
Tilly Pond
driveway is
Okay.
is that little garden right
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Got it.
along the sidewalk. You see it.
I would love to pull some
So
of
is
that.
that on the opposite side of the pond?
No,
It's on
that's,
West Ave itself.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the sidewalk side of West Avenue, just after the parking lot from Longfier heading toward like the Boy Scout cabin, you know. And so
You can actually stand on the sidewalk and work
And
with the
weed
dog.
it.
Close to the Longfier parking lot.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's right across from the little house at the train
Sue,
station.
you know the list you have of the map you have of the gardens?
Yeah, I'm just looking
Oh,
for it
yeah,
right
Maybe
now.
we should
Yeah.
recirculate.
Circulate that would be great.
Yeah.
But I'm happy about this because it's one thing I think we can take off our
Yeah, that's
list
great.
and we can concentrate on some of the others. However, we're adding to the
Boy
list.
Scouts want to do the berm? The berm's a bear.
The burners are there, but I went past the other day, all our red twig dogwood is alive,
Good.
which is amazing because we watered that ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I am adding a garden. Jim Cameron, Channel 79 guy, he said that he thought that the commuters would really enjoy seeing some nice gardens at Noroton. And I understood from him that there were planters there, so I went looking, couldn't find any planters.
Right.
And I thought, oh, maybe they've been stolen, like, I mean, lifted,
But
like.
they had those huge cement ones.
Well, that's what he said, but I couldn't see them
They
anywhere.
may have moved them with all this
Oh,
construction
okay.
right now.
But there's nothing there. So I said to Jim, I'm really sorry, but I really had a good look and couldn't find anything.
There's a few daffodils.
But there are no planters.
Right,
But
right.
there are two sort of semicircular gardens between the two parking lots. So there's the parking lot that's right, I think it's a parking lot right behind that station building, and then there's another parking lot up towards the depot.
Mm-hmm.
And in between the two are these two semicircular gardens that currently have mugwort and some trees in. And he said, well, those two would be great.
And he'll be helping us?
Yes, well, he said, so I said we don't have a lot of money extra, but maybe the Pollinator Pathway could source some plants as well. So this is going to be like a big collaboration effort. And Jim said that I forget the name of his organisation, but he has another organisation that has some funding too, and he would contribute through that.
That's
So
good.
I think we can, I don't know whether it'll be enough for ongoing maintenance with a professional landscaper, but at least we have enough to get it started, and then we'll just call on volunteers if we have
Yeah,
to.
and if
but-
we could like heavily mulch it at least it.
Yes,
Yeah.
It
yeah,
does help control the maintenance aspect.
it does.
Yeah,
it
and
really
it's
does.
super sunny there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the water and.
Well, the watering's going to be an
Yeah.
issue. We were trying to figure out a way in which we could ask the commuters to.
Oh, yeah.
take
Can you bring a watering can
Yes,
every Monday
or
and
just your
Friday?
water bottle. donate your
What will happen? They'll just throw the water bottle and keep flying for the
Yeah,
train.
cigarette butts.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's something that
Gatorade.
we need to think about, and I'll talk to Jim, take a look, and maybe the pollinator pathway interns could make a start on that, because I don't have anybody else lined up, and we're doing butterfly garden, and
Yeah.
We've got a lot of stuff to do.
we have a lot of stuff.
Spring
but I
is a
think-
busy time.
And we
I
have all
think-
this.
Well, yes, we'll mention that in a minute. We have a lot. We have a lot, but I'm fairly optimistic that we have enough bodies to help us.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that everyone has to do it every weekend.
No.
It's just like everyone, if we all just kind of rotate around, it gets done.
Well, yeah, I'll raise the issue in a minute of the slopes here. Adopt a garden, we need additional sponsors.
We do, we had some good publicity, I don't know, hope everybody saw in the paper, I
Yeah.
was pleased that they published that.
Yes,
Thank you.
But of course, I haven't heard a word from anyone. But we'll keep plugging away and have the elder or wilder take care of the ones that we don't have adopted. This is, I can circulate this, but this is very dated and not really accurate as far as who the sponsors are or who does the work.
But at least it will map
But
out where the gardens are.
number 7 is the Amy Smile Garden, if you wanna
I do have
check that out. So we'll just keep going.
Yes.
You know, sadly, Tom Costello said that he would do the dock.
Yeah.
Shop Island, which is at Tokenique Road and Old Kings Highway.
I thought Mateo was doing that.
No, he does the 13, exit 13.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
But we had a sign made for Tom Costello and he has not done, he
Oh, that's
cleaned it up, but he has not planted anything. And I sent him an email in March, but I'll send him another one. We'll see what happens. Consequently, he hasn't put a sign up, but
No.
you know, nothing's happened there. So we'll, you know, just keep plugging away. If anyone has suggestions for landscapers who'd like to contribute, who'd like to participate.
Yeah, I have interest from a couple. I've reached out to you. One is my general landscaper, and another is I don't know if anyone knows Carolyn and Darwin. They used to work at Nielsen's and broke off, and now have had their own company for about a year and a half called Kent Designs. And she's interested as well, so I can
Okay.
speak further.
I mean,
you emailed me the information.
Right.
Oh,
The thing, I mean,
That would be
the
good.
one thing that makes it more complicated is that if we do have it if it's on the post road or any state highway, it needs to be supposed to be permitted by the Department of Transportation. So if I have to send in an application as well as the proof of liability insurance, and the insurance is obviously the key thing. They just want to be sure if somebody's working on state property that if, you know, something should happen, they would be not liable.
Do you know, for instance, the one I was writing with you about, is that technically on hollow tree since it
No,
sits in the
because
middle?
it's 25 feet from the
Okay.
post road, so
Okay.
that would definitely be a state.
Okay.
Go at the bottom of that.
Even though it's so tiny,
Yeah.
you know, it would just need to have liability
Is that
insurance.
your house right down there?
No, I'm up. I'm on Wilson Ridge, so
Okay.
2 blocks up
Okay,
from
yeah.
that one. But I used to email Public Works years ago. It always gets neglected. And then last year, my neighbors just went and planted some mums in the fall.
Right.
But again, it gets so much litter thrown in it when people are
Right.
sitting there.
And we've paid Wilmer to do it. I've met
Yeah.
him there a couple of times, so we've
Yeah.
but we haven't regularly.
Yeah,
taken
it
care
looks
of
much better than it used to.
Yeah.
So I think now it is on, I don't know, their hit list of where to stop.
Somebody's radar.
Yeah, and then, a lot of people put in the yard signs for town events or whatnot that sit there after they end. And
nobody picks them up, do they?
I pick them up.
Yeah.
If it's over, I'll usually
Oh, that
grab
makes me
them.
so crazy. Tag sale signs.
Yeah.
You've done? Take the sign off.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Okay, thank you. So I'll reach out
And
to
most
them.
landscapers would have liability insurance, they need it really to function in people's
Right.
yards, so it shouldn't be complicated, but I think it sort of gives everybody pause.
Right.
Mhm.
And the Kent landscape, are they the ones who are focusing on native plants?
I don't really know, they just started a year ago, so they're
Mhm.
really just doing garden containers mostly.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure
And they're not too
specifically
invasive.
regarding that.
Well, we'd written like a year ago to all of our Adopt a Garden landscapers and asked them to use natives and not
Mhm.
use chemicals, and I don't think they read the letter.
Well, most of them are just
Yeah.
working with
Well,
what's
in
planted
Norway,
there
that's
already.
what
Yeah,
they
just
keep
doing
in
what
their
they can. I
warehouse.
realised it was a
Trying to find them.
A dream.
shot. Yeah, it's a dream.
Thing. I think when they broke off for
Can I
Nielsen's,
just switch
they
it
tried to
around,
lay
because
low
we were
and-
So we were going to talk about the budget next, but I just wanted to mention a couple of things. One is that the gardens here, the slopes we call Habitat Hill, are going to be on the Pollinated Pathway garden tour at the end of June.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm very excited about it because I think it is a stick of dynamite to make sure that the gardens look really, really good.
Top notch.
And we have enough time to work on them, and I will take responsibility. This year I thought I'd make a real effort to keep the plants lower. I have let them grow very tall, and well, I like that. I'm not sure that everybody does, and so I'm going to try and just keep them so they look more formal, more appropriate. More groomed, yes. And so I will try and commit to that, and then I will do some clean-up there. The one thing I have noticed on these slopes, though, is that we get very few weeds. I mean, we get weeds.
That's so heavily mulched though.
It's so heavily mulched, but it was only mulched the
And
year
that
that we planted.
But the June also, I think, also helps.
The June must be,
Yes.
something's helping, because you can pull these things out and they don't have long runners, or if they have runners, all the runners come out. And it's very satisfying.
Mhm.
So you think you can make a difference in not too long a
Right.
time. And
It's almost instant gratification.
yeah, and then the other piece of good news is that Public Works is taking out the burning bush this week. They said they were anticipating doing it this week, which will be good, because when this goes on the tour, it would be embarrassing if they said, "Did you forget
Because you're
the
invasive.
invasive in the corner?"
Yeah.
there?" So I'm glad about that. So I'm really thrilled that the slopes are going to be on the garden tour, because I think it's going to highlight the fact that the town did this massive public planting, this massive restoration of habitat, and the sign is impressive. And
And the
that's-
steps look nice now.
and the steps look nice,
Mhm.
and I think this is going to really stand out as a municipal planting. And I had already had interest from a couple of, in Fairfield, one in Fairfield and one in, I want to say Larchmont, land trusts, who were looking to see, they're trying to do municipal plantings themselves, and asked about what we had done. So,
And the benches look pretty.
oh, the benches, yes, I keep forgetting to look at those.
Mhm.
So I'll make sure that I'm on top of this, but obviously any help would be great. And I
Maybe
just,
after we do the
the butterfly
hanging baskets,
Oh, the hanging baskets, yes.
you know, I would.
Yeah. Well, I just thought I'd mention it so that, if you go by and you see a weed, just take it home. We can make a concerted effort to have these look really tip-top. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, Katie, I'm so sorry because I've let this sort of slide, but at our last meeting, seems so long ago, Katie was looking at the issue of getting more information about the food scrap recycling program into the schools. And Katie, do you want to give a quick update? I know you've hit some bureaucracy, for want of a better word.
Yeah, that was probably, I think, the easiest way to say an update. There was a little bit of bureaucracy in terms of how the forms needed to be submitted. It seems like most of the newsletters were all right with most of the public schools, like the elementary schools, were all right, including it as part of the newsletter. But we needed to have a specific blurb of explanation regarding the food scraps program. And then I just needed to figure out some way to convert the PDFs to the specific file format that they wanted.
Mm-hmm. So just to sort of fill in the background, so assuming Carolyn approves what you write to describe the programme, you're really now able to contribute some information to the different schools' newsletters.
Yeah, they have weekly newsletters, and it seems like most of the schools just at any time we have the materials ready, we can just send it along to the email, and then they will include it for the next week.
Well, that's great, because I think that will reach a whole new
Mm-hmm.
population in town. And maybe, given the timing, you might want to mention the compost giveaway too on 23rd and 30th. I guess it depends when you're submitting these, but just a thought.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, good work.
Is there anything that we might have had written earlier that included sort of a blurb that I could just copy, or
Carolyn
You know,
has
anything-
a lot of blurbs. In fact, she's had articles in the Darien magazine
Yeah.
that's sent out. I would contact Carolyn though. I'm sure she's got a
Yeah, actually, if you look,
standard.
yeah, a couple of things. The Darien Neighbours magazine isn't online, unfortunately, so you have to have the print versions. But I think I have PDFs because sometimes I write for that. So let me look up the PDFs and see if I can find something for you. And then Carolyn also has a lot of stuff on the town website, so you could look at that too.
You put something on the packet.
okay.
Yeah.
I could just
And-
lift it right off there.
Yeah, and also, didn't she sent us her slides that she had prepared when she came to talk to us.
So, yeah, that might be
So,
something.
Katie, that might have preceded you. No, I don't think it did.
No.
But I'll make sure you've got those. So I'll send you the slides, I'll send you PDFs of the Darien Neighbours. And then take a look at the town website.
I just wanted to add for the school newsletters, I just pulled up the email, and I know I have a child at Oxridge and a child at Hinley, and it says that Oxridge deadline for submission is weekly Thursday at noon.
Okay.
So if we wanted to put in the compost information, we'd probably want to submit it
The week
by
before.
tomorrow so that it goes in
Yes.
when it gets emailed
Mm,
Sunday.
But if you missed that, we've got the
That's a good idea.
30th as a second.
Oh, the second one.
Yeah. I hope they keep some compost back. Did you hear that, Katie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
I just unfortunately I just got promoted at work, so my work life has become a little bit much busier than I had anticipated. So I wouldn't be able to get it in by tomorrow.
That's all right. Well, maybe shoot for the 30th then. You know, the next week, so that it gets in for the 30th.
Next week when you're off, maybe you can shoot something and then you
Yeah.
can post it.
Well, do what you can. I mean, this is all above and beyond, so it's all very helpful. Whatever you can do.
There's also, are you guys familiar with the Darien Moms Facebook page?
Mm-hmm.
That could be a good place to post. Like you mentioned, Carolyn may have marketing materials for the giveaway, like putting a flyer on that. I don't know.
Yeah, we should ask Carolyn if she's part of that. All right, I'll check with Carolyn. Good thought. I know Carolyn posts on Facebook a lot about it, so would imagine she's on that. Okay, Katie. So just whatever you can manage, given your schedule, would be wonderful.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so now I think let's go back to budget. That's you.
Well, everyone's got the budget in front of us. This is where we stand. And our line account has $10,724. I'm about to put in $3,099, which is the money I've collected from the people for the hanging baskets. And the capital account we've spent down, so we're down to $520. So this is I haven't paid anything. Nothing's been paid since January. So
Do we owe?
no, we're good.
No.
You had money you wanted me to send to $400 or something for the So
Wait, so
you'll-
we have 10,000?
plus the 3, and then we have the balance of the baskets to pay out of that too.
That's what I'm asking. How much do we owe?
We owe something.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. So we that's what I was asking.
But
So
we'll still have money left
Yeah,
over.
we'll still have some money left.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm just trying to remember, so.
It's fine. I just need to know that we've got hanging baskets to come out of that. And does that mean we have enough money to do the organic treatment for the grass next to the slopes?
Well, we have $520 in the capital account.
Oh,
which
that's what we
could
talked
use-
about. Yeah.
We could use that money
Yes.
for half of the bill.
Okay, that's a good use. Because I was just thinking that we need to get those bird boxes up. Oh, we need to do that before the garden tour. And I was just thinking of asking Public Works if we could put them on the concrete wall so we don't have to have the posts and have them wobble, and have the cement. I'm just thinking if we put them on, the wall. You don't think so?
I don't think so.
How do you
Because
envision
people's-
attaching them?
Yeah.
Masonry nails.
Yeah. Oh, on the back side of the wall, you mean?
Yeah.
Not up on the flat side, but on the
All right.
slope side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could
So the
work.
house isn't on its side, yeah.
Right, right. Well, no, I meant rather than the flat surface that, I was thinking kids walking on the
Oh, no,
lawns. So.
No, so I'm thinking facing the slopes,
Mhm.
and I'm thinking it would be nice and protected because we have so many shrubs up
Right.
there, so
Mhm.
the birds could just get in and out, and all the boxes would be together, so they can do their
Would they be
neighbouring.
up high enough that,
I don't think people. Well, only I'm the
Well,
only one
the
that
nature
walks up those
centers.
slopes.
Well, but
really.
the nature- but downstairs, the senior center, they do look up at that. Would they be able to see the bird boxes?
Okay, I'm just trying to think of how
They
we.
need to be high to keep the critters out.
I suppose the issue would be not the critters coming across the wall and down.
Well, or even, I mean, that's why you put them on posts, right?
What I don't want is the concrete in our. Well, I suppose we could do it. In the slopes.
Because you don't want
I also don't want
chipmunks and all the other.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that wasn't a good idea, was it? But I have mine. My houses are on my fence at home. They seem to live quite happily on them.
Well, we could try.
We could try a couple, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Sure. Here.
I'm just trying to think how else we could do it. Well, maybe I'll talk to Anthony at Public Works. He might have some.
He's always good for,
They're very creative.
Oh.
Very. That's very practical. All right. I'll talk to Anthony.
okay, so here's the figure. We owe about $3,700 left on the baskets. So the $3,000 I'm about to put in almost pays that. So we have $700 coming out of, so that
Okay.
leaves us with $10,000.
Mhm.
Like I said to you, I said I think we should figure out some way to fundraise, seek donations from the businesses that, have the hanging baskets there to help us maybe offset some of our costs.
Yeah.
So, did we get our new money yet?
No. So
No.
let's just think this through. So you need to pay the balance of the baskets out of this, and then we are now would be May. So we need also watering money for half of May, or whatever's left of May, and June.
Mhm.
So that also comes out of our line account for this year.
Mhm.
Okay, and then, so I think we might have enough then to have Elder, or whoever it was going to cut the butterfly bushes down. No, not cut them down, but
Yeah.
trim them
Mhm.
at the burn. Is
Yeah,
that what you
all
wanted?
he needs to do is just those 3 bushes, which would take him like 20 minutes.
Okay,
So
do you think we'd have enough for that?
Mhm.
Clean it up, okay.
it's only like, I mean, it won't take him long at all. So
Okay.
to tell you the truth, I already asked him to do it and I'm paying it myself.
Who, Wilmer or Elder?
Wilmer. because I'm so worried. It's just getting too late, and they need to be cut down. And the
Oh, those
front one
things.
is so tall. I
Yeah.
can't do it myself.
No,
Otherwise, I would do it
And you
myself.
shouldn't, but I wouldn't worry about hurting them. They survive anything that's.
But I want to do it in a timely.
No, that's fine. I'm
Yeah.
just saying you're not going to kill them.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be able to reach up high
No.
enough to get those branches I really want.
Right.
Even with a pole saw?
I'm not good with a pole saw.
No, but so what I'm saying is we can
show me,
afford.
let me go on Friday.
Okay.
We can afford the landscaper, and I'm just saying it doesn't matter if it's not at the perfect time because those trees will not die.
Okay. No matter when you prune them.
No matter, trust
Oh,
me.
okay,
Your
interesting.
line is this high. It'll be 6 foot by the end of the summer. Okay, so we have a plan for that whenever we can get that scheduled, all right?
Yeah.
Good, and then we have some money left for some plants then. For the room.
Mum's the word so far on that.
Okay.
No
so
pun
what-
intended.
Yeah, I'm not getting excited.
Let's see what Jim can come up with too. Cameron.
Oh, Jim, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
he said he had money that
Sorry.
he could,
See you, Jim.
from his organization, that
Yes,
he could,
yeah.
so,
Yes.
we'll put together a plan.
All right, well, that'll be great. So, does anybody have anything else? Alicia, do you have any questions? We've gone so
We-
fast
yeah.
and there's so much.
There has been a ton, we're never this busy, never.
No, things have just,
Flourishing.
Flourish.
They're blossoming.
blossoming. Perfectly. Feel free, just call me. I had offered to talk to you anyway and
Okay.
update you, so feel free anytime. Same goes for everybody. And I think that's it. Katie, do you have anything else?
No, that was it for me.
You just want to get back to work, don't you?
Congratulations, Katie,
On
on her promotion.
Oh, you got a promotion. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did you just say that?
Yes.
She said that's why she wouldn't be able to get the information submitted because she just got promoted in her job and she's very busy.
Oh my goodness, well done. I'm so sorry. I didn't hear it. First of all, I'm partly deaf, and secondly, I was
Yeah,
busy
memory block.
writing.
That's
Yes,
all.
I have memory
Too much,
issues.
too much.
All right, Katie, well done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, well, so could I have a motion to adjourn, Tracy? Elizabeth?
We've just been.
All right, all in favour?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. This was a long meeting, and we've got a lot to do, but
Yeah.
great work. Thank you.
Well,
Bye,
thank
Katie.
you.
See you soon.
All right.